60 seconds. That's how long you get to grab whatever supplies you can before nuclear fire rains down in misery. This upcoming 1-to-5 player co-op survival game drops you and your friends into a brutal post-nuclear disaster zone where every day is a struggle. You'll scavenge radioactive ruins for food, medicine, weapons, anything useful, while building up your bunker and exploring a weird, procedurally generated world crawling with anomalies, mutants, and armed bandits. It's basically Stalker meets co-op with a retro late 90s twist, and it might just scratch the itch for a hardcore survival adventure you can share with friends. Misery doesn't ease you in gently. It literally starts with a ticking clock. The first 60 seconds determine your survival chances. You have 1 minute to grab everything valuable you can find, canned food, meds, tools, etc., and dive into your bunker before a nuclear strike obliterates the surface. If you fail, anyone left outside is toast in a cloud of radioactive ash. That's one way to start. Once the dust settles, that underground bunker becomes your lifeline. In the game's lore, after the nuclear catastrophe, your bunker is the last safe haven for you and your crew. Thankfully, you're not stuck with just a rusty hole in the ground. Misery lets you expand your shelter by building new rooms and spaces, setting up power generators, gas, solar, or wind, to keep the lights on, and even planting some creative defenses to keep unwelcome guests out. Yes, you can defend your base with mutated plants. Nothing says home sweet home like a garden of killer flora. This base-building element means downtime between forays is spent improving your odds, reinforcing your hideout, managing resources, and preparing for the next day's excursion. Each morning, you and your crew leave the safety of the bunker and step into the Wasteland. The world of Misery is a desolate post-apocalyptic exclusion zone. Think collapsed buildings, eerie swamps, abandoned military bunkers, and vehicle graveyards frozen in time. Thanks to procedurally generated locations, no two runs will be exactly the same. One day you might be picking through a crumbling Soviet-era apartment block. The next, trudging through a foggy marsh where half-sunken villages hide unknown horrors. You have to keep your eyes peeled for any useful items as you roam. Food, water, ammo, weapons, crafting materials, all are critical to surviving another day out there. But scavenging isn't a peaceful treasure hunt. Numerous dangers lurk in every area, from swarms of mutated creatures to hostile human bandits who shoot on sight. Sometimes the very environment is your enemy. Strange anomalies, think freaky radiation-induced phenomena, can fry you if you're not careful. As you explore deeper, you'll even encounter powerful bosses guarding the antenna parts you're desperately searching for. These parts are the key to your escape. Your ultimate goal is to collect all the antenna components and assemble a radio beacon to send a distress signal for evacuation. Getting those parts won't be simple. Nightfall is where Misery truly earns its name. When the sun starts to set, you need to drop whatever you're doing and get back to the bunker before dark. After Nightfall, the world becomes lethally dangerous. Your character's sanity starts slipping away, and the darkness brings untold terrors. In practical terms, if you stay out past dusk, you'll lose your mind and likely your life. So every foray is a tense race against the clock. Push your luck to grab more loot or defeat that boss, but make sure you're home by curfew, or you won't live to see the next day. Misery's structure is roguelite in nature. Each run is a cycle of days, each getting harder as you venture further. In the recent playtest, players were limited to the first 10 in-game days, after which the run would reset. In the full game, however, there's no arbitrary day limit. You can keep going as long as you can survive, with new locations opening up the longer you endure. If you do die, it's not necessarily game over. By default, you can respawn back at base, and even run out to loot your own corpse if you dare. For the true masochists, there will be an option to enable permadeath on your server, turning Misery into a one-life hardcore experience. Pick the challenge you can handle. Can you play Misery with friends? Absolutely. In fact, that's the best way to play it. The game supports online co-op with up to 5 players, and you can also tackle it solo if you're feeling brave. There's no PvP here, at least not at launch, so your fellow survivors are allies, not enemies. It's you and your buddies versus the world, and trust me, the world is plenty deadly on its own. The developers have noted that while Misery is built to be enjoyable solo, co-op is way more fun. It's easy to imagine why. Picture a daylight scavenging run. One friend is picking through a dilapidated house for supplies, another is on lookout with a rifle, and suddenly, roar! A mutant beast bursts from a doorway. Chaos ensues. You're yelling for backup over voice chat. Two of you unload your guns into the thing, while a third friend sets it on fire with a makeshift Molotov. Somehow you take it down, everyone's laughing in relief, and maybe a bit of panic, and then you realize it's almost sundown and you all need to sprint back to base now. These are the kind of unscripted moments co-op can bring. Teamwork isn't just for fun either. It's practically required when things get tough. You can divvy up tasks. One player can carry extra fuel for the generator, another handles medical duties, another focuses on fortifying the bunker, etc. And if someone goes down bleeding out in the field, a friend can revive them. Just hope they pack the medkit. Staying alive in Misery is all about working together, and the panic and triumph hit different when you've got pals along for the ride. Misery looks like a brutal co-op survival game worth watching. It offers a unique blend of heart-pounding survival horror and co-op craziness, all wrapped in a nostalgic art style that sets it apart from the crowd. Personally, I'm counting down the days until I can bunker up and brave the radioactive wilds with my friends. If you've ever wanted a game that captures the feel of surviving a nuclear apocalypse with your best buddies, Misery might be the game you've been waiting for. If you enjoyed this preview and found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to GameVault HQ for more previews and content on the latest games. Your support really helps the channel grow and lets me keep doing what I love. As always, thanks for watching and see you in the next video.
К ним прижаться теперь губами. Темная ночь разделяет любви.